Hi, it's Sarah Taylor. Welcome to my channel. I'm showing you some base coat colors for this large painting. This is the second painting of the Bliss series that I'm working on. And it's the same kind of creamy white base coat. This is kind of this warm gray beige base coat color. And I'm working with the pearl technique. So these are all pearl base coats. That's a darker gray. You can see the consistency is very thin. So I really want to walk through this painting a little bit more step by step and talk more about what I'm doing. That's the it's called TriArt, and it's their liquid mirror, and it's really a beautiful paint. It's very, very unique, the effects that it achieves. And then that's TriArt iridescent bronze. And that's actually a puddle paint. So that's one of the paints that's going to go over the top of the base coat. And then that's a mixture of Modern Masters Rich Gold, and I added some TLP ore and some TLP Harvest Gold into that paint. And then this is just a white puddle paint, another Modern Masters, it's their pearl white. And that's India Yellow. It's a TriArt liquid color. So the liquid is their really highly pigmented liquid fluid acrylic. Fantastic paint. I just love it. And that's this kind of dusty pink color that I mixed up. And I'm going to be working with the iridescent gold fine high flow, which I've got an obsession with. I've been using it a lot lately. I just love it. And some of this gold, Montana gold spray paint. So I have a 48 by 60 inch canvas here. And I'm going in with these different base coat colors. So the white and those two different tones of gray. Just creating a nice big puddle of paint. And you can see I've taped some cardboard corners, and that really helps to see how when you pull it off, it just kind of drips down the side, and it helps you get to the corner of this large canvas without dumping so much paint off the sides. It works really, really well in sort of preserving some of your paint and not having to use such a high volume of paint. It's really helpful. And you know, sometimes I spread my colors of base coat out a little bit more one by one and kind of layer them and apply them one at a time. In this case, I just decided to go ahead and move them all together, which it can be a really cool effect. It gives you a lot of variation, and you can kind of see how some of that light gray paint is underneath the white in that whole bottom section. So it gives it a really fluid, a lot of different gradations of the different colors of base coat when you do it this way. And it just depends on what you're going for. So that's the liquid mirror. And the liquid mirror is, I'm kind of using it as a base coat. I don't really want to use it as an actual puddle paint to go over the base coat. So I'm just applying a little bit on the outside edges of the composition here. And it creates these really interesting, highly iridescent pearls that are really, really pretty. So I'll show you some of those at the end, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And now I'm going in with the puddle paint. So that's the white puddle paint to start, and then the gold, and just kind of going on the, you know, where the gray meets the white is kind of where I'm intentionally putting the two different puddles of paint, so I can sort of move the paint over the seam of where those colors, the two different base coats come together. And that was the iridescent bronze and the India yellow. And then this is kind of a fast, you can't do this too slowly or else the pearls start to develop, and then you have to continue to tilt the paint and the pearls will get sort of wonky and misshapen. So on a big canvas, it's definitely like a little bit of an adrenaline rush, because you have to get it, you have to get it done. You really have to kind of get the paint moving. And yeah, it's like a very but you also have to be mindful. So kind of finding that balance can be tricky. I'm going to let you watch for a bit. I'm going to come back and talk about some of the other stages of this painting. Right now, it's just going to start to pearl, and I'm going to work with it a little bit, and I'll be back in a bit. Just a reminder, I will be teaching at the Fluid Art Experience March 14th through the 16th, 2025. It's going to be an incredible event. These are always so much fun. There's so much to learn. The artist lineup is awesome. There's a gala and a meet and greet, and yeah, it's one of my favorite teaching events. So the link is below in the description, and I'll be teaching a lot of pearl technique and also a textured bloom class, which I'm really excited about. And then also there's a couple Lakeside Fluid Art retreats coming just right outside Spokane, Washington. So yeah, links below. If you have any questions, please let me know. So at this stage, I was liking it. I wasn't feeling enough contrast sort of in the middle composition of the painting. So I went ahead and got some spray paint out. That's kind of this concrete brown color. It's a Montana spray paint. And just kind of bringing that in right over the top of the acrylic. And spray paint actually does really well. It dries beautifully on top of acrylic. It's a solvent-based paint, so you know, sometimes it'll create some really interesting texture, a different type of sheen. It can be very interesting to work with. So, you know, the spray paint became a pretty big element in this piece, and I also bring in some gold. As you can see, I'm wearing a respirator, especially, you know, working with any sort of fumey solvent-based paints like this. It's really important to protect your lungs. And they're cheap. You know, I've got them in my Amazon shop, which is linked in the description. I think you can spend $25 and get a decent 3M respirator. So, and then here I'm just using a pipette. I pulled in some iridescent gold fine high flow by Golden, and just kind of dropping some of that high flow in and creating, which those are going to puff out and turn into these big, beautiful golden pearls. They're just gorgeous.
Saw you paint a picture of a face, a face that wasn't even close to mine. I know I shouldn't be in love, but it's so hard to move on. You haven't changed. I'd still love you anyway. I'd give you the world like I promised I would. Even though you wouldn't do the same. I'd give you the world like I promised I would. Even though you wouldn't do the same. Had this conversation more than 10 times. After 9 I still wish you were mine. Haven't ate in 7 days, 'cause I've been up till 6 a.m. Wrote 5 songs all just for you. 3 of them I can't bear listening to. I'd give you the world like I promised I would. Even though you wouldn't.
Okay, going back in with more spray paint here shortly. I really just wanted more drama. I felt like that center section was just getting a little lost. It was just kind of grayed out, which I wanted. I wanted that gray in the piece, but I'm going to bring in some depth with some of that darker spray paint. And then I'm also going to use some gold spray paint as well, which gave it this beautiful, beautiful shine down the middle. And, you know, practicing with the spray paint, it likes to, there's some overspray. So it can get a little bit messy, but all things that can be fixed when the painting's dry too. So I'm just kind of going for it with that dark spray paint, and it really gave it a much more dramatic, it gave it a lot of depth. I really like what that did. And then here's the gold spray paint, which I was just kind of experimenting with different ways to apply it. And, you know, if you get closer and just kind of have a delicate touch with it, you can really have quite a bit of control. And I know they sell different tips for these cans too. I had some and I couldn't find them, but the regular tip that came with the spray paint can was actually working really well. And I'm going to come back, I'm going to show you some texture that I put into the painting after it was dry, and that part was really fun too, so stay tuned. Okay, so here's the wet results, and I absolutely love this painting. Has this sort of dramatic but soft feel. And after it was dry, I took this TriArt iridescent bronze and their gel medium in gloss, and just I'd already started, but I just wanted to show you what I was doing here. I mixed it, and then I'm just taking a little palette knife and kind of pressing a little bit of texture through some of these center lines of the composition. And that iridescent bronze paint by TriArt Liquid is really magical. I like bronze, but this particular bronze I love. As you can see, I mean, it's just got this really, some of those areas had already dried, and I was kind of coming back in and just adding a little bit more interest. And yeah, I liked the added texture. Tara Lombardi with Pieces of Tara has been doing this a lot, taking some gel medium with some different paint and adding it into her fluid art pieces. So yeah, it was inspiring, and I thought little texture would work really well. And then after that was dry, I kind of just took some nice, this is just titanium white, and just kind of undershadowing it with some white. It really just gave it even more dimension. This part was a lot of fun. I just really liked how it was changing the whole look of that texture. It was really pretty. I'm going to show you the dried results, and yeah, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'd love to engage. I've got all sorts of beautiful teaching events coming up, so, and of course I sell my artwork on my website. All right, show you the dried results here. Take great care. Much love.